Hi, I'm Susanna Bowling, and this is live from the Hotel Edison. Times Square Chronicles presents Zoom Style. We've heard of Verizon and AT&T, but there is a better phone company out there. As a matter of fact, I use it. It's called Pure Talk, and today we're talking with their ambassador, Clint Romesha. Clint, tell us about your background because you've won a Medal of Honor.
Well, Susan, thank you for having me. Sorry we couldn't do this in person like we were planning on last
Oh,
week with
don't
all the
worry about it.
hectic schedules, Veterans Day. But my background, like a lot of Americans, I joined the Army as soon as I turned 18 in 1999. I did 12 years of military service. In that time, it took me to Iraq twice for two combat deployments there and deployment to Afghanistan in '09 for my third combat deployment. In '09. That is when our outpost, combat outpost Keating, got attacked, overran, and after 15 hours, and unfortunately losing eight great Americans, we were able to push back, recover all of our fallen heroes. And out of those actions that day, I was awarded in 2013 by President Obama the Medal of Honor. It's one of those things like no one goes out to try and win it or get it. It was because of those men to my left and right that day, and more importantly, those eight men we lost that gave up everything. I might have got selected to wear it, but it represents not just those guys I was with, it represents all of us Americans, whether we wear the uniform or not, contributing every day to one of the freest and safest and just most prosperous countries in the world. It represents all of those values. And it's just been an honor to be now teamed up with Pure Talk and their, veteran leadership company that's bringing great cellular service to the U.S., coverage nationwide for a really, really great rate that, I got six kids, so the cell phone bill can get a little high with them. So their rates have been just amazing to help us budget and figure out what's next in life. And like I said, most importantly, giving back, standing for something. Their support that they have done in the veteran community has just been top notch. They are doers, not sayers.
I want to go back to you winning the Medal of Honor. If I'm not mistaken, didn't you say you didn't deserve it because of your fellow eight people?
As I got notified that I was receiving it, it comes with a whole range of emotions. I looked at that day, as a day where I wasn't alone. I had those guys to my left and right. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. So it's that bittersweetness of it's great to be recognized, but it also comes at that weight looking and knowing you could have plucked me out and you drop any other warfighter in there, and they would have rose to the occasion. That's what we do as Americans. When things get tough and things get down and things get challenging, you see it time and time again. So for me, like I said, it was that bittersweet that I knew for a fact you could have replaced me and someone else would have stepped up to it. I also know that I didn't sacrifice nearly as much as those eight men did. I mean, they gave up their lives. And watching that, knowing that act of love and what they gave up, it's it's one of those moments where I still don't feel like I deserved it. I don't think I did anything special. I did exactly what those guys to my left and right did. And those eight men did even more than I did. So for me, I always feel like it's those heroes that don't come home. Those are the ones we can never forget. We always have to remember. And it's not just on Veterans Day, Memorial Day, or any kind of, military holiday. It's, as I say, it's Memorial Day for Gold Star families 365 days a year.
I think the fact that you say this makes you deserving of it. I think heroes aren't the ones that celebrate themselves, but the ones that celebrate their fellow human beings. How did you get involved with Pure Talk?
I got involved with Pure Talk through their great support with the nonprofit I've been working with for years called America Warrior Partnership. Pure Talk stepped in to help do a roundup on the customers at the end of the month. When you get your bill, you can opt into this roundup, which has been allowing us as America Warrior Partnership to pair up with local communities to help end veteran suicide, understanding it's at the lowest level we can solve the biggest problems. And looking at it too, that veteran suicide is not just a mental health thing. It's so many different aspects. It's not a program. You're not going to have a suicide prevention program that's going to work because if it did, for the last, what, 50, 60 years, we would have, seen an improvement. It's giving veterans so much hopefulness. You eliminate that hopelessness that they fall into. And because of that roundup that Peer Talk has done with America Warrior Partnership over the last 2 years, we've raised $500,000 in that effort. And that's a testament to the customers. That is giving back where you can and doing something and not just talking about trying to do something. It's my hat is off to all those customers that continue to do that roundup. Without that support, like we couldn't be making the efforts that we're trudging forward with an American Warrior Partnership. It's truly amazing to see that.
You mentioned veteran suicide. I wasn't going to go there, but let's go there. How many veterans? What is the statistics of veteran suicide? Because it's high.
As the VA's reporting, I think, is the last numbers I'd seen a few weeks ago, about 17 a day. I mean, one is too many. 17 a day is way too many. You can look at some of the other data, and if you look by death by disparity, we found out in our Operation Deep Dive at American Warrior Partnership when we've gone through the state data, if you look at death by disparity, where 70% of coroners will not list
Hmm.
a suicide as a suicide. They'll put it as an accident or other,
Really?
for protection of the families, for
Oh,
financial issues. When you start kind of looking at those numbers, that number starts creeping up to almost 40, 44 a day, you
that
know,
I
and it's
knew
just mind
I knew
blowing.
that this was outrageous. I've written about this before. And the fact that we do not offer these men and women support and help just astounds me. What is Pure Talk doing and American Warriorship? What are they doing to help these men? And what can we do as Americans to help them?
With the support of what Peer Talk has been helping American Warrior Partnership with is, like I said, it's getting into those communities. And the first thing we got to do is we got to identify our veterans.
Hmm.
Every generation, I kind of think, goes through this. When you first kind of get back, you kind of want to take that uniform off and you kind of want to fly under the radar. It's getting back in touch and building those relationships again. One, to have early detection and prevention. If you can get ahead of it, because a lot of times they said it's not just a mental health thing, it's missing a car payment. Now that they've missed a car payment, now their car is going to get repossessed. Now that their car is going to get repossessed, they're going to lose their job. They're going to lose their job. They're going to lose their house. And it just starts snowballing. And if we can get there early, identify the veteran in that community, say, hey, I know you're having some financial trouble. Here's a local nonprofit that does exactly that. We pair them together. We help advocate for the veterans when they hit those stumbling blocks. And before they get all the way down that road, if we interact right at the beginning, we can prevent that snowball effect. And a lot of it, I said it, there's a lot of great organizations out there. We're partnered up with over 300 other veteran nonprofits around the country in over 3,000 communities. But it's because of that support and the donations and the roundup from America or from Peer Talk that allows us to do that. And again, we ask any veteran out there listening, if you ever need help, if you ever need anything, come to America Warrior Partnership, our network. You can get in contact with us. We'll plug you back in. And again, the vast majority of veterans are honestly doing really well and they're wanting to give back and serve. But every veteran knows a veteran that might need a little help. And if you know one, if you know a vet, tell a vet. Tell a vet about America's Warrior Partnership. Let us help you help yourself. What we look at is to enable veterans to take control of their own destiny, empower them to get better, because a lot of veterans kind of shy away of thinking they're just getting a handout and kind of the pity party that you've suffered so much that here you go. No, the best way is to help them help themselves. And by building those relationships early, yeah, interjecting before things get, so out of control, that's that's what we've noticed has been the biggest help to help. I think with our last couple of months of people calling in, we've identified over 20 veterans that were calling for one thing, but then screened for suicidal ideations. And in the
Oh,
last 30 days, we still maintain contact, still have those warm handovers, still circle back around. It's not a one-time thing and you're done. And to date, we still have contact with all of those veterans that screen positive for suicidal ideations and they're doing well.
wow. Let's talk about Pure Talk because that's what I use on my phone. I love Pure Talk. Um, Not only are you helping give back to veterans, and it's a great service because my phone works almost everywhere. Um, the pricing, you have a new pricing, right?
They're currently, I think, running, I think you get 50% discount on your first month, and you can get a plan for $20 a month. Your first month would be $10. I mean, where else can you get a cell phone plan like that where you're paying $20 a month for your cell service? I travel all over this country, so I know when I say I haven't flown anywhere, whether it's up to Alaska, down to Florida, New York, California, where I haven't turned my phone back on out of airplane mode, landing on that tarmac and not getting service. It's incredible coverage. It's like I said, it's nationwide, covering I think over 99% of the US.
And you give discounts to veterans.
We do. We give one of the biggest discounts at 20% for the active duty military servicemen and women, which is, again, you add 20% to that or take away 20% of that bill, and that goes a long way, especially, seeing with this last government shutdown,
Right.
that little bit can really help out a lot. And it's those moments that, again, Pure Talk has stepped in to stand for something, to show action instead of sitting there reacting and just saying you're doing good stuff. It's those little moments that build those relationships that veterans understand someone actually gives a damn about me. And
Hmm.
it's through those little things. Because I always say, if you're too if you're too big to do the little things, you'll always be too little to do the big things. And that's where the impact happens. It's those small little things, and they build up over time, over time, over time, and that trust and that commitment. You have someone watching your back.
I have to tell you why I got it. Originally, I had Boost Mobile, but I moved to a place that they had taken the cell towers down that Boost was using. So I went to Verizon and I said, okay, let's go. They lied to me. And I spent, I would say, 45 days fighting them because they also did not have the right cell towers. And then I was listening to the radio and they were talking about Pure Talk. And I was like, wait, I can support my veterans. The price is way cheaper. I think I paid originally $29.95 for it. I pay more now, but that's because I have hotspots. Um, but still, it's way cheaper than everybody else. And never once did they lie to me about where there was service. Not once.
No, they're like I said, they're incredible with their coverage, their pricing, and what's also great to note is they're all US based. So when you need help and you're calling, you're talking to someone that's employed here in the United States, providing jobs for Americans and opportunities. That's another incredible thing with them. You're not calling in and getting some overseas call center. It's an American here that's earning money, that's employed, that's being active, that's contributing back. And that's that going again above and beyond.
Understands the problem. I mean, I deal with a lot of call centers, and as soon as they ship me over to like the Philippines, which seems to be the biggest one, I'm like having a fit. And I'm like, I want an American, get me an American now. I'm a complete bitch because we should have Americans dealing with American problems. There's no other way to handle it.
And it's that mindset too of yes, by talking to another American what exactly they're going through. You've
Right.
got just that natural relationship, and there's the ease of customer service to come to a solution instead of a handover to a handover to a handover, solves the problem way quicker.
I want to say to people, when you come to Pure Talk, you buy your own phone or you bring your own phone. But now you guys have a great plan that you can buy phones and you can pay them in installments. So say your phone is not working for you and you need to upgrade, you can. I
They offered,
found that.
yeah, that's a great service that they offer because yeah, sometimes when you are transferring over, yeah, your old phone, might not be, might be on its last leg. You've got to keep it on the charger all day and still only get 30 minutes of use out of it. And then you look to that the support there to understand you can bring your old number over. I know that was my biggest scare when I
Oh
switched was
yeah.
like everybody that I know has my number. And, the guys I served with, the Gold Star families, they know they could always call that number and I was going to answer. And the fact that I can pull that number over and I didn't have that, hey, everybody, here's the new one that you got to look up and program in. That was a great, great service that they did, bringing your old number over to it with either your old phone or to opt in to get an upgraded phone through them.
Well, I need to upgrade my phone, and I've been a Pure Talk customer now for I think 3 years, and I need to upgrade. And the only reason I haven't done it yet is that the phone I want, people keep buying and I can't get it. But if I
Yep,
could, I
the
would.
yep, the good
And
supply and demand and what's popular, you gotta, yep,
yeah,
it's gonna work good then.
I do know it's going to work good. What haven't I asked that people should know about Pure Talk?
They're like I said, it's not just their support with American Warrior Partnership, they also pair up with other nonprofits. So one of the great things I got to do just this few months ago, back in July, was go down to Florida. Pure Talk sponsored a veteran receiving a service dog with
Oh,
Canine for Warriors.
yes.
Again, that's stepping in and standing up and showing action. And it's one of those, for me, I'm a huge dog lover. I've got two red labs, just love them to death. And for a lot of veterans that are struggling, that having that kind of battle buddy paired up with you, it's in those moments where they just put their head on your lap. They give you that look. It's that calm and comfort. And again, Pure Talk realizes that it's not one solution that's going to solve all these veterans' problems. It's all of these different organizations. And for them to spread the love and the wealth and support and donations to provide, I think the dog was a memento that we got for Air Force, or excuse me, oh, he's going to hate me for saying that, a Marine Lieutenant Colonel. My bad, Greg. Uh, to see that process, that it's not just here's a service dog and go. They get paired up. They make sure the veterans with the right dog. More importantly, they got to go through like a 21-day course to learn how to. The dog's pretty much smarter than most of them coming in are. So it's training the veteran how to interact with the dog and the potential there. But again, it's going back to, it's not just one thing that's going to solve all these veteran issues. It's looking at all these different avenues to figure it out.
It's a piece of the puzzle. How
Exactly.
can, besides joining Pure Talk, what's another way that Americans can help our vets at this point?
There's as I've looked at it and gone around the nation, we do have kind of this disconnect where as fewer have served, our population's dwindling, and a direct contact where, looking World War II, even Vietnam, like you were not even hardly one person removed from knowing someone that was wearing the uniform. And you look now, and you might have to go two or three levels when you're talking to someone that doesn't have a family member serving before you find that connection. And I've always noticed it's us as veterans. I know it's hard to share our experiences, but if we're not sharing our experiences and what we've been through and showing the next generation what that service and sacrifice looks like, that's going to be forgotten. And
Mm.
for those that haven't worn the uniform, to sit there and take a moment of time to listen to a veteran, that goes a long ways. If you can make someone feel listened to, that sometimes is more therapeutic, more healing, and just so genuine that it's more than just a thank you for your service. It's I'm going to take time out of my day, because I don't know if you know this, I can make more money. I can't make more time. And when you give your time to someone else, that is such a special, special gift you've given someone. And for civilians that spend a little time with veterans, just to listen to them, to get to know them, you'll know one, they're not all broken, they're not all suffering. They provide so many great attributes to this country. And for veterans to show what your service and sacrifice meant, to pass a little, convey just a little bit of that on to someone that might not have any of that connection. That is how, when we say we'll never forget for the loss and the sacrifice that those have went through, puts it upon those that had no connection there. And now we're coming together instead of tearing things apart.
And it's free. It doesn't
Exactly.
cost anybody money to go listen.
Yep. That's why we got two ears and one mouth. We do a little more listening than talking sometimes. We think we'll
That
be a
is a
little better off.
great statement. I never thought of it that way. Um, how can people join Pure Talk?
Nope. Easiest way is go online to peertalk.com. Look up their services, all their pricing's listed there. You know, again, you can transfer your number that you already have on your existing phone. You can keep your phone. And I mean, there's various packages. You talked earlier about those hotspots, so they have bigger
Yeah.
data packages. Again, for like I said, with my kids and stuff, like they tend to be on their phones a little bit longer, but I've noticed right away, most of the time they're connected to Wi-Fi. So I don't need a
Right.
huge data plan. Most of it is they're, yeah, either here at the house or at the school or somewhere where they have access to Wi-Fi. And it allows you then to really kind of cater to your lifestyle, what plan you want to be in.
Well, being a journalist, I need to be able to get onto the internet ASAP if a story is breaking or doing something, and I have never had a problem, even in the Hamptons. I may have had problems with my phone service, but everyone has problems there. But I never had problems with my Wi-Fi, and I found that interesting. Um, Clint, thank you so much for talking with us today. Helping a veteran right now during the holidays is an easy way to put back some of the joy in your spirit. Pure Talk, I highly, highly recommend it. Like I said, I actually have it. Um, but this is a product that I highly recommend because not only are you getting a service that you need, but you're helping. And it's cheaper than AT&T, Boost, Verizon, name the company. I researched them all. I'd like to thank Magda Katz for always making us look and sound good, to Romel Gopez and Hotel Edison for putting us up on their billboards and always giving us a safe place to talk. I'm Susanna Bowling, and this is live from the Hotel Edison. Times Square Chronicles presents Zoom Style.